gentlemen, I don't know what this is. It looks like it just came out of the basement. Master. Worldwide. Master.
Welcome back to MasterBetting. Ferg, this is MasterBetting. It's another episode of the podcast. Welcome back. As always, this is Nugs, joined by Ferg. Ferg is not in his car, but he's not in his studio. Ferg, where the fuck are you?
Look, bro, here's the thing that you need to know about me is I'll masturbet just about anywhere, you know? And today, it's a beautiful Colorado evening. We've got great, it's cool. It's been a freaking hot, this is MasterBetting. It's been a fucking hot-ass summer in Colorado, and we finally get a little break. I was like, I'm masturbating outside today. And I know that that's a little unconventional. I know when you think about masturbating, it's something that's usually an indoor activity, but I'm just here to show our listeners that you can just masturbate wherever you are. You really can.
There's no doubt about that, and we've made that clear from day one that masturbating can be done anywhere. So I guess per usual, I'm locking it down here on the ones and twos, as they say, from the studio in a sweltering spare bedroom. And well, Ferg, but you know, at the end of the day, your comfort is what means the most. We don't need a sassy Ferg on the airwaves. But anyways, now that we know you are, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Had a great weekend. One of I got to be careful how I phrase this. I really like this band, and I saw that they were at Red Rocks on Friday. On Thursday night, I was for some reason I looked at the schedule and I saw that Cross Canadian Ragweed was playing at Red Rocks on Friday night, and I was like, shit, I could go see that. Let me check ticket prices. And I looked on Thursday night, and the tickets were $24 a piece to Red Rocks. And I was like, oh, yeah. You could not get to Red Rocks ever for $24, you know? And so I was like, yeah, I was already planning on going to the show on Thursday night. And then I woke up on Friday, and those tickets had dropped to $12. So...
Must be a really good band. Must be really, really good. Cross Canadian Ragweed is what they're called?
Yeah. Cross Canadian Ragweed. Shout out Red Dirt Country Music. These guys were really popular, had a good following in the 90s. It's a combination of their names. Cody Canada is the lead singer, and then the two other bandmates are, one's last name is Cross and the other's last name is Ragsdale, and so they Cross Canadian Ragweed, and so that's what they came up with. It's a great name, honestly, in my opinion. But probably not the most popular Colorado band. You might remember I took a trip down to Oklahoma last year to go see this band. They had just gotten back together after Cross left the band in the late 90s, early 2000s to go raise his family, and they got back together last year for their first show and sold out 4 nights at Boone Pickens Stadium there in Stillwater, what we call Deadwater, Oklahoma. And they sold out 4 nights at Boone Pickens Stadium. I haven't looked at what Boone Pickens holds, but there had to be 100,000 people at each of those shows. It was insane. It was a much anticipated reunion. But I got to be honest with you, the consensus from Friday night is that's definitely the worst Red Rocks show I've ever seen in my life. So $12. I'd do it again. I love being at Red Rocks, best place on earth. So I was not unhappy being there, and even a bad show can be good if you're with the right people and having a good time. You know what I mean?
No doubt. I was going to say, well, I've never heard of that band, so thanks for, I guess, the the background, it makes a little bit more sense for that name. I mean, earlier in the week, I mean, my wife went to Hillary Duff, and if you would have told me that Hillary Duff could pull a crowd to get enough people to buy tickets to get into Red Rocks, I guess it's not as hard. However, did you know that Red Rocks only seats about 11,000 people? So that's not a huge venue, given some of these really huge tours that. Really?
I think it's 7,000. Yeah, I'm going to look that up while we're on. I'm going to fact check myself here, but I believe it's somewhere around 7,000 to 9,000 that can be at that show. So, at Red Rocks. So
gotcha. Well, either way, so past week, I mean, and again, freaking in the heat, but either way. Getting into Red Rocks, like you said, is never a bad time, Ferg. But anything else this weekend? I know we're going to get into something we talked a lot about last year. We got some updates, but I guess I'll just share. I went and saw The Odyssey. You have any interest in seeing that movie?
I've heard a lot of buzz about it, but I wasn't done with my story, Nugs. I want to get back to that real quick, okay?
Oh, sorry, go. I thought you were fact checking. Keep going.
No, you're good. Red Rock's 9,525 people, so it's a little in between where you and I said. But the last part of that story is that I went to the Douglas County Fair down in Castle Rock, Colorado on Saturday night, and there was a band that you might know this band a little more, AWOL Nation. Heard of them? So AWOL Nation was playing down there, and they were underperforming on ticket sales there as well. And so the guy at the gate, we just bought grounds tickets for $5 to get into the fair. And then the guy at the gate gave us tickets to that show. So we saw AWOL Nation on Saturday night. But $24, I was able to go to two shows, two of us at two shows for $24 for the entire weekend. So that was the moral of my story. Great value with music venues this week. Mid-level talent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I remember from AWOL Nation, I did like some of their songs, and I don't say I liked AWOL Nation, like 15 years ago, but some of their songs. But I can't imagine them being a great live performance. So either way, but like you said, $24 is a value. I guess going back to what I said before, as I rudely cut off your story. Yeah, and $24. I mean,
good, man. They weren't
for
that
two concerts. I'll take it any day, Ferg.
100%, bro.
Yeah,
but let's talk about what
$24. I saw, just one ticket for the Odyssey. It wasn't the IMAX, but that was, I guess, the highlight of my weekend. But it's, I mean, all the hype. It's legit, Ferg. I highly recommend. We don't really talk about movies that often. I know we talk about previous movies we've seen, but we don't really talk about what's out in the theaters. But with all the hype surrounding it, I would highly, highly recommend. Might be a nice date night idea for you, buddy.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So, fucking loud, though.
Yeah. I need to, I probably should check it out. I can't remember the last time I sat down and watched a movie from start to finish. I'm a mover and a shaker, Nugs. I'm always out and about. I'm doing things. I'm MasterBetting.
Have you ever tried Ritalin?
What are you saying, bro? Nah, I haven't.
I mean, it just might calm you down a little bit. I've tried Mexican Ritalin. It's a hell of a drug for next time you're down in Mexico, go to the Pharmacia. Check out some Mexican Ritalin.
Okay, I'll probably won't do that, but cheers to the. I'll keep on the whiskey. To
Mexican Ritalin. Cheers. Anyways, because as we move on, anything else? Well, what else? I guess not. What else? Tell us about kind of what you just got done with. Another big thing coming up for you that we'll be talking about in future episodes to come.
Yeah. So Parker Hawks. I'm back on the Parker Hawks coaching staff this year, and we've been doing 1 a week practices for the last several weeks, but this week we go to 4 days a week practice with a game on Saturdays starting on the 22nd. So Yeah, man, we are in full swing. These kids are going to get pads on later this week, and we're going to be hitting on Monday. So that's what really separates you. Get, the thing about these kids is a lot of them eighth grade, first time playing tackle football. A lot of these kids have never taken a hit, and so when the pads get on, it really does. You can tell the kids that are a little timid and are going to take some work to, because at the end of the day, if you're scared taking the hit in football, that's where you're going to get your injuries. That's where you're going to, you got to bring it. You got to deliver it. Like we named
Oh yeah.
a past episode. You got to lay the lumber out there.
100%. I mean, it's just like for a car crash. For I've been in a few of those. If you're bracing for impact, that's where a lot of the injuries occur. Much like hitting.
Yep.
I mean, I did play a physical sport growing up. As I was developing through the magical years of puberty, but no,
That's the
no,
physical sport you played.
ice hockey.
Pool?
There was a little bit of
Ice hockey. Okay,
freaking
my bad.
ice hockey, but I will tell you that, I mean, there's that learning curve when you're going through squirt to peewee. When in peewees you start checking, and yeah, kids get hurt when you go into the corner scared. That's when you get hurt, buddy.
Yep, exactly. Well,
So
looking
all the
forward
best. Can't
to a
wait
good
for
season.
wait for some.
Yeah, you're going to hear all about it. You're going to hear me talk about this team, and I'm in my bag this year, Nugs. I am a little more vocal. I've got a season under my belt, and these kids are getting it today, and the rest of the week. They're going to be hearing it.
Just a lot of conditioning this week.
We got a lot of conditioning, but more than that, we're installing plays and really starting to work on developing our offense and getting the kids in the right positions. You know what I mean?
So you're on the offensive side of the ball this year. I thought last year you were in charge of the secondary. They're moving you around.
Well, I last year and this year I am running wide receivers and DBs. That is my area of coaching specialty, I guess. Is what I'm doing this year. It's the same thing. We're doing receivers and DBs. It's all about form and fundamentals right now, man. It's really just getting these kids running crisp routes and being in the right place on defense.
Love it. Well, can't wait to hear more about it, Ferg. But yeah, as far as anything else going on, or should we move into? I guess we keep saying this, but not a ton to get into this week. But we got a little bit to get into, so let's
the
do
dog
some
days
getting
of
into
summer.
some things. What do you?
Yeah, I'm with it. Let's get into it. It's the dog days of summer. The master betting is limited, but you still got to do it.
You do. I mean, yeah, just keep it up. And again, it's too much fun not to. And Ferg, I have talked about in the years past how, baseball has not really been my thing, or I've really struggled with betting on baseball. But, just because you're not good at it doesn't mean you can't still master bet. And actually this past week, if you were paying attention to our social channels, or mainly our Instagram, I threw a bet up there, and I hit a little four-banger. Granted, I did my typical conservative $5 bet, but it ended up paying out 40, Ferg. You can see it right here if you're watching this on YouTube, but I had the Diamondbacks in the over 7.5, and I had the Tigers money line in an under 8.5, and those all hit, Ferg. Put it up with plenty of time for people to ride with me on it, so hopefully some of you out there listening were able to ride that bet with me. And yeah, I turned $5 into 45, so hopefully you were not like me, place a little higher of a wager. Ferg, if that was you placing 25, that would have paid, quick math here, I mean, probably in the 400s, so, clack, either way, got one done. Love to
it would have paid 5 times the amount. So it would have been 200 and some change, but it's okay. It's okay. I know that, that's the beauty of master betting these days is you don't have to figure out those odds. They'll do it for you.
That's true, but actually now that you're going to call me out on my math, so 5 and winning 45, so that's 8 times more. So whatever 25 times 8. So.
No. Okay, I get what you're saying. 25 times 8. Okay, sure.
Yeah, either way, if you put in a hell of your wager, one more money. Either way, it's nice to be able to share you with the listeners that we put a bet down, we threw a bet out there, and it hit. It was actually one of the only ones we threw out on social media. So we were betting 100% last week for click clack.
Yep. Love that. You're carrying the weight, bro. Those shoulders, that back must be hurting. Shoulders are tired.
Then, and of course, if you did pay attention to our socials today, coming at you on Monday, we did throw some bets out there, and they crashed and burned. And Ferg, I mean, you had I think it was 9 or 10 leg parlay. I had a 4-leg parlay, missed it by 1 leg. Had the Phillies up 7-5 against the Marlins, and Marlins ended up pulling it out 8-5 in the bottom of the ninth. Kicked me in the nuts, Ferg. I almost was able to share another winning bet here live on the air with you, but close, but didn't hit.
That's the beauty of master betting. You never know until it's done, right?
Yeah, I did throw a live bet on the Yankees. I did see that you had the Yankees money line. The Yankees were down 3-0 when I checked, and then they were tied 3-3. So I just threw $10 on the Yankees money line. I'm not sure where it stands right now, Ferg, but let's hope I can regain some of the money I lost a little bit earlier today. But anyways, like you said, slim pickings, and here we are. But Ferg, we're on the doorstep. We talked about it last week. We are right upon football season. Players are checking in. I think tomorrow is when camp officially opens for every NFL team. So pretty exciting, Ferg.
Speaking of which, did you catch the news this morning? Before we get into our futures bets, did you catch the news this morning on the offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, one of the best in my most humble opinion, and if you listen to this podcast, you know I'm very humble. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying, dude. That was such a good joke. It made me lose train of thought. But what I was going to say, actually, now I remember.
Your humility took over. Your humility took over.
It did. In many instances, it's hard being this humble, to be honest with you. It can be difficult to stay grounded. And anyway, I do a fantastic job at it, better than anybody I know. I probably don't know anybody more humble than myself. But I digress. Eric Bieniemy had one of the best nicknames from Chris Berman back in the day. He called him Eric Sleeping with Bieniemy, which I thought was hilarious. But
never heard that. That is great.
Yeah, his wife got shot last night. And, of course, when you hear that a woman was shot, it definitely makes you, first place you go is the husband, right? But that wasn't the case. He was actually in St. Joseph, Missouri, getting ready for training camp with the team. So he was not in Virginia with his wife. But then later in the day, the news broke that it was their 26-year-old son that shot the mom. The mom, I can't remember her name off the top of my head here, but she was transported to the hospital where she is in stable condition. So looks like she's going to pull through. But what's going on with that Andy Reid coaching tree, bro? Andy Reid's son, we've talked about this on the podcast before. His son's had some legal troubles and some issues. I think one of them actually, rest in peace, committed suicide. But here it is, the Andy Reid coaching tree. We've got some more drama, bud.
We do. So I did see that. I mean, it is a sad story. And Eric Bieniemy, from all intents and purposes, and a local guy, was, I mean, I'm not sure if it is retired, but should have his number retired at CU. Big guy for the Buffs back in the 90s, back in their heyday. Anyways, but I was reading the article, and Andy Reid, obviously has given his thoughts and condolences to Eric Bieniemy and his family, but he did say, yep, like, this stuff happens, and, it's hard not to look at Andy Reid and be like, yeah, don't you think, buddy? And I think just off the cuff, because I did kind of look into this for. I can't even give you a reason why, Ferg, but one of his sons did OD. I don't think he committed suicide. He OD'd. And then at one point, when he was in Philly, the son that OD'd and his other son, can't think of his name right now. I think he's kind of a crock of shit, but I'll get back to that in a second. They got caught selling drugs out of his house. So they're in this multi-million-dollar house. Their dad's the coach of the Eagles, and here's his two kids selling weed to Philadelphia, or people in Philadelphia. So who knows? So they're getting caught there. One son died, and then his other son got a DUI, and I want to say he either severely injured someone or he might have killed someone. And he was sentenced to a felony, and he was sentenced to some hard time. Got out early. I think some strings were pulled, and now he's some motivational speaker. And I guess not to say that people haven't come from worse and come back to better, but it's always been this is a dude with a silver spoon who just fucking partied his ass off, got caught doing something pretty bad, and now it's I found God, you know? And Andy Reid is just like, things happen, this is life. So maybe he's just has a little bit of scar tissue from what's happened in his own family, but still pretty insane story for Eric Bieniemy.
100%, I agree. Thoughts and prayers, T's and P's for the Bieniemy family, and I hope that that young man can get the help he needs while he's locked up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's getting out anytime soon, nor might be able to pull the strings. Daddy might not be able to pull the same strings that Andy Reid could. Dad can't get a head coaching job, so and actually that's not fair. I mean, throwing jabs at Eric Bieniemy in a time like this. So on to other, not really a tragedy, Ferg, but we didn't really talk about this when we were talking before we started recording. Did you hear what happened to Kyle Shanahan?
I did not.
Yeah, so he was in a pretty bad car accident where he broke 2 of his ribs, broke his hand, his nose, and got 40 stitches and has a concussion. So as the Niners open training camp, Kyle Shanahan will not be there, and it's not because of the broken bones or the stitches, he's going through concussion protocol.
Wow. Well,
and you got to imagine,
you feel a little worse for a guy that is in an unfortunate situation that was maybe not of his causing, but yeah, man, this is that time of year. The season starts ramping up and the drama starts unfolding.
Yeah, no doubt. They did say, though, that there's no alcohol involved by either party, and that they're not saying who was at fault, but yeah, Kyle Shanahan's out, and it's crazy to think, because, a Sean Payton story just came out recently, and part of the story was really how crazy these coaches' schedules are and how they're a different breed, from the lack of sleep to just how they just run their bodies into the ground over the course of a season with all the preparation and meetings and film work and everything that goes into it. So you got to imagine gearing up for training camp and preparing for an NFL season with having a head injury like a concussion. He could be out for a little bit, I feel like being an NFL
definitely.
coach is not an easy job on the mind, so we'll see how long. But right now it's the offensive coordinator. I can't remember the guy's name, but and then Clay Kubiak, who's one of the offensive assistants, brother of Clint, CSU Ram. Shout out, go Rams. He's also kind of stepping up. But I thought that was pretty crazy too. I just read about that the other day, Ferg.
Well, when you think about these coaches, and by all means, I am not trying to make light of the situation. Once again, I hope that the lady Bieniemy, whatever her name is, I hope that it recovers fully and has zero long-term issues that are the result of that gunshot wound. But it's a demanding job, and you see, again, no shade. These guys are super successful and have made a career by being all in on their job. And it just kind of begs the question, are they not able to be the father that they need to be at home because they're, putting all of their time and energy into their football team and growing those players.
No, that's a great point, Ferg. And if you think about it too, I mean, no matter which route you take, when you look at an Eric Bieniemy who was a former football player, NFL player, college star, went to an NFL player, and then kind of rose the ranks that way. And you look at a Kyle Shanahan, who, yeah, his dad is a will be Hall of Fame head coach, who
100%.
kind of ranked, but he started in, as an intern and working his way up. And no matter what job, from the head coach also demands a lot of the same almost work ethic from his coaches. So you know that these guys have to work to their way up at the highest level of their profession. They're putting in the hours. So the availability to family life, and that's a huge sacrifice actually that's talked about all the time, is the family life for some of these guys. So makes sense to me.
100%.
Now, Ferg, as we're talking about coaches, we are going to get into the futures I have. I want to get your thoughts on a few of them, but again, part of master betting is we are always progressing. And Ferg, as I've talked to you about, I stumbled onto a new technology. Well, it's not really new, but it's new to us and new to the program. So I want to play a little bit of audio for you, but give you a little bit of backstory. I'm going to actually start with Kyle Shanahan. Do you remember when Kyle Shanahan was asked, I think he was asked about injuries, and he came back and said, well, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive next week. I don't even know if this world's going to be around. So, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm not going to comment on injuries. Do you remember him saying that?
No, I do not remember him saying that.
All right, well, that'd make a little more sense. Well, so now let's go to your boy Lane Kiffin. So nothing really on college football as of yet, but Lane Kiffin. So he's talking, and he has to address, he's at SEC Media Day, and he's addressing, apparently he made remarks that he had a hard time recruiting to Ole Miss due to the racial climate in, is it Biloxi? Do they play in Biloxi? Or am I just, yeah. Due to the...
Well, I don't think they play in Biloxi, but Biloxi is in Mississippi, and that's a fine town there, but I don't think they play there.
All right, well, wherever Ole Miss is, he had trouble recruiting because of the racial climate. So when he was asked to elaborate on that, he went down the rabbit hole of talking about how we're all going to die someday, and this is where he landed. So he's trying to answer a question regarding his comments on the racial disparity at Ole Miss compared to LSU, and this is where he landed, Ferg. I want you to listen to this.
Grew up, there were two people that I thought just wouldn't die. My dad and Hulk Hogan. And then I watched that special and realized, like, Hulk Hogan died too. Like, there's no way Hulk Hogan was ever going to not wrestle and die. And he did. And so it just made me reflect, really.
So, I mean, he ended his whole press conference with his reflection on Hulk Hogan dying and his dad dying. So, Ferg, I thought that was pretty funny, and I was actually proud that I was able to import some audio to the program and share it with the listeners.
Love that. I laughed when I just heard him bring up Hulk Hogan. But, I mean, honestly, that's the I wasn't into wrestling when I was a kid, but if you are, those are larger than life personalities, larger than life people, and so I understand the reference, but it is kind of funny.
So that was a big highlight. He's getting a lot of flack when he was already getting shit for his initial comments, saying that he couldn't get recruit at Ole Miss as well as he can at LSU due to racial issues. That was kind of his fallback, is he never believed that his dad or Hulk Hogan would die, and that's how he rounded out his answer. So Lane Kiffin always worthy of a soundbite, and we might have a few more to come this season. Not that we have the technology for.
Exactly. I love it. I think this is just another level, another added level to master betting. But honestly, I like Lane Kiffin. I know the guy has caught some L's over the years for, I think he had a 20-something-year-old girlfriend recently, maybe still does. And so there's some social things that Lane Kiffin has, like I said, taken some L's over the years. But at the end of the day, he's a really good head coach. I don't always like the way he has handled moving from one program to another. I thought it was, but at the end of the day, he's done whatever he can to, to further his career and be successful in that business. And I got respect for him. I don't hate him at all.
I don't hate him, but it feels like and I remember he was the coach of Tennessee, and he was going on about I can't remember singing the honky tonk and doing all this stuff, but he does kick up a little dust wherever he goes, but he wins and he gets promoted and he keeps getting jobs, so there's something to say there.
Well, he's a handsome fella too, so that's worth noting.
I think he looks fucking weird, dude. Do you think he's handsome?
I'm sorry, what?
All right, dude.
Lane Kiffin? Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, but if I were, I mean, he'd probably be my type.
I'm not sure if I'd be a Lane guy. I think he just looks like a friggin' douchebag. But anyways, we're not here to argue the merits of head coaching in college football based off their looks. Ferg, so we did talk about doing a futures episode here. I assume you did your homework. Safe to say.
I didn't need to do any homework, to be honest with you. I know what I'm betting on, and I've stated it on the end of our last podcast. I'll say it again right now. But look, it's the Cowboys' year. So throw whatever you want on the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl, and let's ride off into the sunset. Click, motherfucking clack.
Click, clack, Ferg. It is the year of the Odyssey, and I feel like Cowboys fans will still be on that journey to find their way home to hoisting the Vince Lombardi trophy, just wandering aimlessly in the desert. But Ferg, put a few numbers. You are going to put money on the Cowboys. It is your year, and if your fellow Cowboys fans think so, they're coming in at around, depends on the book, about 2,200 plus 2,200 to win the Super Bowl. They are the 16th favorite odds to win the Super Bowl, right about dead center. My Broncos, they're at plus 2,000. So right, plus 2,000. Now, Ferg, I actually am going to give your so we got the teams out of the way. We know which way you're going. We know which way I was going. Now, a couple other things that I did look at. So let me ask you. We went through the quarterback MVP rankings last week that you actually did pretty good on. Now, for number one, who do you think or I guess the favorite to win MVP is?
I mean, I think it's probably the favorite to win MVP almost every year. It's got to be Josh Allen.
Yep. Josh Allen's coming in at plus 500. Now, Ferg, last week when we were going through that list, Dak ranked at number 6 through this, and it was the ESPN list. I mean, take that for what it is. Everyone comes out with a list this time of year. But Dak ranked at the 6th best quarterback. Now, Ferg, here's what I like right now is... So you're actually really going to like this. As much shit as I give you about the Cowboys, I was looking at division odds for every division, and I was looking at MVP odds. Dak is the 7th favorite to win MVP at, depending on the book, he's between plus 1,200 to plus 1,400, and the Cowboys are plus 300 to win their division. Here's what I guess I don't have to pitch you, Ferg, but I think that if the Eagles are going to have a down year, and the Cowboys do have a good year. I mean, they have 2 of the best receivers in football, and Dak was playing at an MVP level last year. I think there's a real chance that a parlay with the Cowboys to win the division, the NFC East, and Dak to win the MVP, I think it's a real possibility. I think it's more than a shot in the dark. I think it's not a long shot. It's not a layup, but I think that's a bet that could give you some pretty good odds, Ferg.
Well, Nugs, we can continue talking about this, and I really appreciate you bringing that to my attention. And right now, sorry about that, Nugs. I'm going to place that bet for sure. I think that's a great bet. I'll place it after the podcast, and we can throw some of these future bets up on our story tomorrow because I love that bet.
Yeah, that one really intrigued me. For whatever reason, I'm not high on Philly. I mean, they had their issues last year. They traded away A.J. Brown. It feels like any given week that there's going to be a straw that's going to break that camel's back. Jalen Hurts, I know he's won a Super Bowl, but he seems like his psyche, and I know he's your boy. I think, did he win at Oklahoma or Alabama or both? Either way, I don't have a lot of faith in the Eagles, so I think the Cowboys are a dark horse to win that division. If they win that division, Dak is going to be up there if he performs like he did last year for MVP. So I think that's a sleepy or sneaker bet or sleeper, whatever. I think that's a sleeper, Ferg.
I like it a lot, so I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. That's my future bet that I'm going to be placing today. Of course, Cowboys win the Super Bowl. We already talked about that, but I'm going to do that division Dak MVP. Let's get it.
Love it. Then a couple other. You know what, Ferg? That was really it. The only thing also that really stood out, but no one's going to bet on it because it never happens because this is a quarterback-driven league. But I guess I'll ask you. It's not a defensive player, but who do you think has the best odds, non-quarterback, non-defensive player, to win the MVP?
Well, I mean, probably Saquon if I had to put a name on it.
He's actually number 4.
He's actually number 4
of the skill positions. Yep.
Of the skill positions, he's number 4. Well,
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. Non-quarterback skill position that's the favorite in that category to win MVP. I mean, it couldn't be like Derrick Henry, right?
No, I'll just give him to you because we'll be going rounds. But so the first is Bijan Robinson has the best odds to win the MVP. Yep, and then these won't be surprising when I say them out loud. Bijan Robinson, then it goes Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamar Chase, and then Saquon. But they're down.
I was gonna bring up Jamar Chase, but when was the last time a wide receiver won MVP?
Off the top of my head, I mean, have they ever, Ferg?
I mean, it's a very good question. I would venture to say that I can't remember in my lifetime a wide receiver winning MVP.
Well, maybe I'll have to bring that on later episodes. So I think there's some futures to get into, but those are the ones that I kind of looked at to begin with. So, like I said, I really like that Cowboys bet, and take the Cowboys, take the Broncos. You got some long odds, but bigger payouts. Long odds, big payouts. That's what we're all about, Ferg.
That's it, bud.
Well, Ferg, before we go, because I can barely see your face anymore, I did want to let you know that my Colorado Rockies, they broke a couple records the other day. I'm not sure if you heard. They're playing against the Brewers, and they got the first 11 of their first 12 batters got struck out. So I can't remember what record that broke. I think it was something like their first 8 batters in a row got struck out. So that was breaking a record. However, Ferg, they did break a franchise record. So to break that streak, and what's that pitcher's name? Mizorowski? Sorry, I guess I could have told you that.
Yeah, Jacob Mizorowski, yeah.
Yeah, so he, and I can't remember the Rockies player now, but whoever the Rockies player was, he hit the I guess the home run against the fastest pitch thrown to a Rockies player. A home run was hit in the 5th inning to break that strikeout streak, and he hit a home run at a ball going 102 miles an hour. So the Rockies are breaking records. Just had to bring that to your attention.
Hey, I love that. Anytime the Rockies can bring some kind of good to the table, I'm about it. Little something to note with that Jacob Mizorowski. This is like, to me, I don't know, kind of odd, but I understand that I am in a different generation than him. But that Mizorowski, he has a custom glove with a Pokemon card in the glove.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
But-
interesting little tidbit, if you will.
Huh. I guess that'd be interesting to some of our younger master bettors. Doesn't really.
I'll send you a picture. You can throw it up on the podcast, and we can show it.
Yeah, send that over, and I'll get it up on. Check us out on YouTube, and you'll see what Ferg is talking about.
There it is.
All right. Well, Ferg, it has been a pleasure. I can see the glare off your sunglasses. That's about it. So I'm going to wrap this up. But anything else you have for the listeners here?
Hey, things look a little darker with these sunners on, man. So I hopefully everyone can see my handsome face, my humble, handsome face. But if not, maybe my voice is enough.
The sultry sounds of humility, Ferg.
Perfect. The sultry sounds of humility. I love it.
Yes, sir. All right, Ferg. Well, you guys, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. And make sure you're following our bets. We're almost there. Just a couple more weeks. We'll be placing some football bets. Can't wait. But in the meantime, make sure you're checking out our social media channels. we will be placing some bets, and if last week's any story, we're going to be hitting some bets too.
Love it, dude. Click motherfucking clack.
Gorilla Pop, take Ferg to bed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what this is. What looks like it just came out of the basement.
Master.